And out of the red corner today, we have Big Mac Galloway. Mac, how do you think the debate's going to go today?
Well, Will, they call me the maniac psycho. My mind is vital. My voice in the speakers is hot, and it might blow. Fast and not slow. The flow of the tempo. On your mark, get set, go. My speed like Flojo. I'm running through this thing like my blood is petrol. Try to battle me, yo, SS loco. I've been holding back. It's time I let go. My voice is lethal, on point like a needle. Smooth and classic like a 7-8 Rico. I have no equal, a hip-hop hero. The heart of a lion, bold like an ego. Connect with a track like a train at the depot. Competition is weak like Shaq at the free throw. That's all I got to say, Will. It's going to be on.
YouTube! It's your boy TD. I'm back again with another video, guys. Hey, I'm a debate king. You know I ain't lost a debate. I'm 34 years old. I came out the womb debating for 34 years. It is what it is. All I do is win, win, win. YouTube! What's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another debate night. I'm with my homie Matt, guys, and we doing my top 5 tight ends going into my 2021 football season. Yes, I said it. My top 5 tight ends going into my 2021 fantasy football season, guys. So, Matt, what's going on, bro?
What's good, baby?
Hey, you ready for this debate?
Hey, always.
Well, look, I'm about to whoop you, bro. So I hope you're ready, man. I'm coming with it. But listen, guys, so I ain't going to waste time. You know how I is. I getting started straight up. So I'm going to give you my number 5 tight end, guys. And my number 5 tight end going into my 2021 fantasy football season is T.J. Hockenson. Yes, I said it. T.J. Hockenson. And, guys, the reason why I got T.J. Hockenson as my number 5 tight end is because of his potential. His potential is phenomenal, guys, and it takes tight end time to get acclimated in the offense, sometimes 2 to 3 years. Look at Tony Gonzalez. Look at some of the older guys, Shannon Sharp. It took them 2 to 3 years. And once they learn the offense, they can shoot up. So what I'm saying is, early in the season, guys, he had to learn how to block. Early in his career, he had to learn how to block. He had to learn where to be at. He had to learn how to get himself open within the zone and man coverages. Now, I feel like with the pattern that he showed at the end of last year, he's learning that. So let me give you some stats from last year, guys. T.J. Hockenson had 67 catches, 723 yards, and he averaged 10.8 yards a catch, guys, with 6 TDs. And he also had 101 targets. So minimum 100 targets is like my line. Like if you get 100 targets, you are a fantasy valuable player, no matter what position. And also, guys, he had 1 carry, but that doesn't mean that shows you what type of talent he has. They're gonna give him a carry, right? And also, guys, he had 175 fantasy points, which ranked 5. So I'm not putting him there because that's what the point said. I'm putting him there because I like his potential, and also with DeAndre Swift getting more acclimated in the offense this year with a run game through play action. I love that with tight ends, guys. That gives me like a guide. So also, guys, looking at his season, like starting from like week 10 to week 15, guys, he had 10 points, 13 points, 15 points, and 16 points. And that let me know, okay, you ready now, bro. We're going to release you. So let me move on, guys. My number 4 tight end, guys, is Mark Andrews. Yes, I said it. Mark Andrews. And the reason why I'm choosing Mark Andrews, guys, is because of play action. I just said it. Play action is big for your tight ends. That means your linebackers have to respect the run game, so the tight end most of the time is one-on-one because they have to respect the run game, guys. So let me give you some stats. And also, man, I believe Mark Andrews is he's not the best, but he's one of the best all-around tight ends. He has to block for Lamar. He has to block for J.K. Dobbins. He has to do a lot of blocking. So he's just not a pass game. He actually a better blocker than some of the better tight ends in the game. So let me give you some stats. And which was a down year, but once they got started, guys, he started picking up at the end of the year. So he had 58 catches, 701 yards, with a 12.1 average. And he had 7 TDs, guys, and 88 targets. Now, the offense had changed around a little bit, so he didn't get his 100 targets that I gave you. But this is Mark Andrews. They have to make some changes, and they wasn't running a smooth offense in the beginning of the year. You can see that with Lamar Jackson numbers and also just that offense in the whole. But also, guys, he had 170 fantasy points. I love Mark Andrews. Do not be scared of picking up Mark Andrews. Somebody dropped him in my fantasy league, and I scooped him up, guys, and went to the championship game. And I lost my championship game, but this really neither here nor there. It's all about being there. You can't guarantee a win. You're just trying to get there. So, guys, let me move on to my next tight end, guys. And my next tight end, guys, is Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, I said it, Darren Waller. Now, Darren Waller's, guys, he used to be a receiver. He was a practice player for the Baltimore Ravens. But, so he got traded. And they knew he was a good practice player, so they traded him to the Las Vegas Raiders. And, guys, he's very fast. And again, I'm about to give you my key. He's a play-action tight end. Yes, I said it. He's a play-action tight end. So they have to stop Josh Jacobs. So they worried about stopping Josh Jacobs with that big offensive line. Darren Waller one-on-one. That's why he had the big games that he had, guys. And so let me give you some stats that Darren Waller did, guys. He had 107 receptions, right? For 1,196 yards. That's a lot, guys. That's a lot for a tight end. And he had 11.2 yards per catch, average, with 9 TDs. And you ready for these targets? Are you ready for these targets? He had 146 targets. So, guys, you want that. That's 146 targets. So you want that, guys. So he had 278 fantasy points in the ESPN Standard League, guys. So yes, I love Darren Waller. I think he's fast. He could play receiver, but he's tight end. They put weight on him. Great move by John Gruden. Great move by Mike Mayock. That was a great move to do that. So guys, let me move on to my next tight end. And this guy is my favorite tight end, even though he's not number one. This is the guy that I'm targeting in my tight end draft. Well, when I draft a tight end, guys. And it's George Kittle. Yes, I said it. George Kittle. Now, George Kittle is to me, is the all-around best tight end in the game. I said what I said. He's the best all-around tight end. I didn't say the best route runner. Right. All-around, blocking, running, beasting people, doing whatever it takes for his team to win the game. Just George Kittle, guys. Mm-hmm. So let me give you a little stats about George Kittle. Let me see right here. So George Kittle, guys, you know he got hurt. He was out for about 7 to 8 games. Mm-hmm. So he had 48 receptions, 634 yards, 13.2 average per catch, guys. Only 2 TDs, but that's, like I said, he didn't play the whole season. He got hurt. 63 targets, and he had 2 carries for 17 yards. Remember I said, when you see a tight end getting carries, that shows his athletic ability. So also, guys, he had 125 fantasy points in standard scoring, not standard, but just in the ESPN scoring format, which is PPR, guys. And also, let me give you this caveat. I mostly talk about PPR. You should play PPR if you're in standard, because I believe the scoring makes it a little bit more funner, and it involves more players. Mm-hmm. If you go to standard, only certain players are relevant. But when you do PPR, you can get like sleepers and stuff. So, guys, I love George Kittle. He's an all-around best blocker, and he's always going to be on the field because of his blocking ability, which gives him more access to touchdowns because the defense don't know what he's doing. He could be blocking like a tackle, or he could be doing a play-action fake like he's blocking and goes out for a pass play. So I love George Kittle. So, guys, let me give you my number one guy. And everybody, you probably know who this is. It's Travis Kelsey. And I ain't got to say I said it because everybody know what this is, what this guy does. So, listen. He's the best route runner probably in the NFL, maybe 2 or 3. I said what I said now. He's one of the best route runners. This guy is tremendous with his route runner. And also he has another he had Tyree Kill on the outside, which is a tremendous weapon. So that helps him. That's why he had 130 yards in a Super Bowl. But yeah, guys, so let me give you some of the Travis Kelsey stats. I'm not going to really say too much regurgitated stuff because we know what Travis Kelsey is. But he had 105 catches. 1,400 yards. I said what I said. 1,400 yards. That's receiving numbers. I don't know if any tight end ever had that many yards in one season. He had also 13.5 average per catch, guys, with 11 TDs. Yes, 11 TDs, guys. And here you go. You ready for these targets? About the same as one of my other boys. 145 targets, guys. 145 targets with 312 fantasy points in the ESPN scoring format. So, guys, pick up Travis Kelsey. Actually, guys, I'm gonna say what I said. I'm one of the first ones to say this now. Are you ready? Are you ready? You can draft him in the first round. I said what I said now. So you go ahead, bro. It's already on you.
Wow. So, okay. You kind of threw me a curveball with that last line. I mean, I get what you're saying with that. Before I even get into my five, let me address that real quick.
Go ahead, bro.
I can see the concept of that. I'd have to highly disagree with that. In my opinion, the way I draft and the way I build my teams.
Okay.
Kelsey is a number one, and he is the number one in KC. Everybody thinks it's, Hill, but in my opinion, it's Travis Kelsey. You look at the routes, you look at the targets. The numbers don't lie. Okay. Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't.
Okay.
Jay-Z, what's up? But anyway, Kelsey, the only way I could validate that point or kind of agree with that is if you're in the 10th, 11th spot. Anywhere at the turn. I may be able to see that, especially if it's PPR. If it's standard, no way, no how. I can't do it because he doesn't accumulate enough touchdowns for me in order to take him that spot.
11 TDs, that's not enough for you. Okay.
Not in the first round. Not in the first round. Because I'd rather have a running back. Because if I'm playing standard, I'm going RB.
Well, you tell me the running backs to head over 11 TDs. You told me how many of them.
But we looking at the efficiency in the red zone.
Okay.
I'd rather have CMC or Derrick Henry. The chances of them getting in the green zone are going to be way higher than Travis Kelsey.
Okay.
So that's my mindset in that.
I didn't say number one overall pick, but go ahead. I don't mean to.
Well, no. I'm saying even in the first round.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. To me, it's just way too much value in the first round. But again, I don't want to harp on that too much because I'm going to give you a few of my five. I want to start with number 5.
Okay.
Which is Logan Thomas.
Okay.
A lot of people won't see him as that, but Logan Thomas, if you notice, 2019, 2020, he came in to 72 receptions, 670 yards.
Okay.
That's with Alex Smith, and God bless him. It was a great story, him coming back and all of that. But he wasn't a prototypical tier 1 quarterback.
Of course not.
If they can fool around and get somebody, let's say in the draft, or even a veteran in free agency, Logan's numbers are going to shoot up. He was targeting 110 targets.
Okay.
He was actually top 5 in targets with tight ends. So going into this year, I think Washington is they're going to steer more to the passing game. Like you said, with the play action, we all know what Antonio Gibson's going to do. We'll get to him later on because I got him on another one of my lists.
Okay.
But he's going to be one of the top tier targets in Washington.
Okay.
All right. So that's what I like about Logan Thomas. My number 4 tight end here is another one that I think a lot of people probably won't put him in this category. But if you look at his numbers, it dictates and shows how he's going to be one of the top tier tight ends.
Okay.
As Evan Ingram. So you look at Evan Ingram, he's got the Jason Garrett effect. You look at Jason Garrett, look at the history of him in Dallas, what he did, with the tight ends there. Witten was a superb all-star, Pro Bowl caliber tight end. Evan Ingram last year also had 110 targets. It's kind of skewed in the vision of what people saw with Evan because Saquon went out. Saquon comes back healthy, we're going to see a whole different Giants offense. And Evan Ingram is going to be targeted heavily.
Okay.
Because that's kind of the run and the tight end, they kind of coincide with one another.
Okay.
In multiple ways. Evan Ingram's not what you say per se like a big blocker or he's not known for that. But he's more, if they run 21 personnel.
I said what I said.
He's probably the best tight end, route running tight end in the league.
I ain't gonna say route running, but I say as far as fast and just running and playing. He could play receiver.
Exactly.
He could.
So, in saying that, he's probably the number 1 on that team, unless they go and get somebody else.
Okay.
Because we don't know what Golden Tate's
I don't think they do. They like Evan. They like Evan.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not saying replace Evan as tight end. I'm saying get another wide receiver, like a number 1.
Yeah.
But it's really not too many out there in the market that I think will choose New York and cap space and all of that. So Evan Ingram's number 4. So I'll kind of roll through it real quick because, the top three we kind of agree with, actually in the same order. Darren Waller is my number 3 as well.
Okay.
And like you said, I do agree with that. With those targets, 146, that's superb. I mean, he was only like 45 points behind Kelsey.
Exactly.
So, and you can get Waller. That's kind of going with what I was saying too, as far as not getting Kelsey in the earlier rounds, because you can end up getting Darren Waller in the 3rd.
Yeah, but you got to rely on that offense too to make sure, like Travis Kelsey what he's going to get, and that makes me feel a little bit safer, even if he has a bad game. Where I'm like, well, come on, man, y'all know y'all should be getting Waller. I don't like to do that. I don't like to hope for nothing. That was a great year, but is that what he's going to do every single season?
Well, he's had 2 consistent years.
He has, but I don't know if he's going to get 145 targets because, Henry Ruggs is developing, and also the receivers, they was down last year, so that gave us a lot of targets to Waller. But Kelsey, no matter what happens, I feel like he'll get that. But go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, and then if you also look at, because, the quarterback carousel that's going on right now.
That's true. That's what there you go.
And that's going to affect a lot of these rankings and a lot of everything that we're going to be talking about. So let's just say, hypothetically, if they fool around and get somebody like a Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, whomever, even I think you spoke on it in a couple of your videos before about Mariota. So, and I agree with you 100%. I like Mariota a lot. When you got a mobile quarterback, not saying that Carr can't do it, but Carr's time is probably gone. Well, I'll put it like this: him and Gruden, it's kind of like oil and water.
It is.
You get what I'm saying?
It is. He see all these gadgets. I don't mean gadgets, but they see all these quarterbacks running the ball and doing all these wonderful things. He want that too.
Right.
But sometimes you got to appreciate what you got.
Yeah.
You start going and switching up, but this neither here. Go ahead, finish your thought, bro.
So Darren Waller, like I said, for me, I think he'll come in as the 3rd, and he has a possibility to slide up to even 2 or 1, depending upon the like I said, the quarterback carousel, how it falls. George Kittle's another one. I agree with you on that. He had 63 targets, but like you said, he missed like 8 games. So if you average that out, he probably would have been the most targeted tight end, last year. We all know what he is. He's a phenom when it comes to the physicality of the game and the way their offense runs, and he is the number 1. He's really the number 1 option.
He is.
To be honest,
he is.
So I love George Kittle as well, and then I have to agree with you. Travis Kelsey, he is who he is. I mean, like I said at the very beginning, my rebuttal, I think Kelsey is the number 1 receiver in KC. It's kind of like a ripple effect, in my opinion. If something happens to Travis Kelsey, we'll see. I'm not saying that Tyree Kill is not or wouldn't be who he is, because you still got to fear him. You still got to adhere to his attributes. But Travis Kelsey makes that offense so much greater. Just in the way that certain defenses got to adjust for him. Cover 2, cover 3, whatever the case may be, you got to always pay attention to what Travis is doing.
I agree with that.
So, in a nutshell, the top 3, I definitely agree with you, but Travis Kelsey is my number 1. But again, I kind of got to, we'll have to debate that a little bit, maybe at a later date, but that, in my opinion, it'd be very, very I don't know, that's a high price to pay in the first round.
This is what I say. Guys, so listen, you don't want to take guys in the first round that finished number 1 in their position. You don't want to take guys in the first round that finished number 1 in position. Then what are you doing? Because if I get the number 1 tight end and then I come in the second round and get the number 1 quarterback, game over. As long as they don't get hurt, game over. So I'm not going to play, I got to get running backs because you blocked in. Get the number 1. Be the first one in those pools. But you got to get the right one. That's true.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, like he's saying, you can let the draft fall to you and you get the number 3 guy, he end up being the number 1. But if Kelsey has another season like he did, and then you go and get Josh Allen in the second round, you took guys too early. But how you take them too early when they score 30 points, 40 points? So he getting guys, he letting the draft, his quarterback scoring 20 points, 15 points. But my guys are scoring 30 and 40 points every week. I'm winning. Then I can work the waiver wire and fill out the rest of the positions. I'm not worried about a running back. I can find a running back. Look at James Robinson. Look what he did. When was he drafted? He wasn't even drafted. So I'm not worried about it.
Some of them been drafted. I drafted him.
You drafted him?
I drafted him.
When'd you
in
draft
my
him?
JUCO league. Remember I showed you the other
But
day?
was that a dynasty?
No. That was a redraft.
Where part of the season did you draft him?
I drafted him in our draft. We had a later draft.
Okay.
This was like
later draft. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
but
you're
my
fine.
point is, it's number one. Listen to me and TD. You're gonna get these cutting edge players
And coming on Patreon too, guys.
right. But when you do the research and stuff, that's where that's how you win your draft. Is when you find that discount drafting. Find people late in the draft where they can win you your leagues. I mean, think about it. A few years ago, Chris Carson, Lindsey from Denver, David Johnson, all these players, even Nick Chubb a few years ago when he was a rookie, a lot of people didn't even draft him.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? So it's different players that you can get. Every year, it's always going to be somebody that comes out. So for me, getting somebody like a Darren Waller who's proven, he was only 45 points away from being number one.
Okay.
He's going to fall in that third round 90% of the time.
Okay.
So why not take him in round 3, and you can still get, if you so choose to get a Josh Allen or a Pat Mahomes in your second round, and then get your number one number one receiver or number one running back.
Okay.
So you're going to have all three. So then you have potentially a number one tight end, number one quarterback, and a number one receiver in those first 3 rounds. But if you go and you go ahead and roll the dice on Travis Kelsey in the first round, you're going to kind of miss out on those other tiers.
Okay, let me say this. So last year when we played in our league, and I took Tyree Kill with the number 7 pick, what did you say? What did you say?
You took it?
Yeah.
I don't remember. What did I say?
You said, yeah, brother, that's a little.
Why? I said it was too high. Because, okay, so in that case.
And where did he finish? Where did he finish?
Right.
And then, so who did I take in the second round?
Lamar Jackson, wasn't it?
What did you say about that?
I still think it's too high.
Exactly. But
those are anomalies, though, bro. That's
you want to come to this channel, you
right.
get those anomalies.
But if we
get those anomalies.
If we talking numbers, that only happens few far in between.
But that's why I'm on. This is cutting edge. This is fantasy good sports.
I agree with that 100%. But what I'm saying is, you can still get those anomalies. Like I said, I drafted James Robinson. He won people leagues.
He did.
I drafted Jonathan Taylor. He won people leagues. Antonio Gibson. So you can still get those guys late in your draft and still get some of the safer people in the first part. I'm just all about
play safe, but I understand what you're saying.
No, and I get it, but I'm all about risk adversity. You know what I'm saying? Because in fantasy football, you got to watch your risk. You know what I'm saying? Especially in those first couple of rounds. Hey, like I said, Travis Kelsey's not a bad, because you're really getting like a receiver / tight end all in one. But if I'm at the turn, I'd much rather get Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, or Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas. That's just me. And then I can fool around and get Darren Waller in the third. So then you got 3 studs sitting right there in your top 3 rounds, where if you get Travis Kelsey and like a quarterback, then you're going to be struggling, you know what I'm saying, at your receiver possibly, or your running back.
No, because there's so many receivers out there now that can give you like a Justin Jefferson, that you can pick these guys up off the waiver wire.
Right.
So only thing that I'm asking on the back end is picking up on your waiver wire. That's what you have to do when you go take these guys, because you're getting the number one at these guys. And then, like, to finish my point, like, yeah, I picked. So I went Tyree Kill, I went Lamar Jackson. And Lamar struggled a little bit in the early season, but I stayed true with him. And then later on in the season, that's how I got in the playoffs. I came in second in my league, guys. I lost in the championship game. And the main reason is because I had Tyree Kill and I had Lamar Jackson. And a lot of people didn't want to take those guys when I took them. I didn't take Michael Thomas first. I took Tyree Kill first because it's just certain things that I see, guys. And if you subscribe to this channel and you hit the thumbs up button on my videos, guys, you'll be able to get content like this where I'm giving you cutting edge stuff, and on my Patreon where I'm telling you things where people are like, well, why would I do? You will see why. So, guys, I will do a video and let you know and see my draft. But, guys, it's not about being safe. Just watch the NFL. These guys that are picked safe, they get fired. You get fired. So you got to go out and get the player that you want. Look, why was Russell Wilson picked in the second round or third round? Why was Tom Brady picked it? Because you got to go get what you want. Don't play no games with this. Go get the player that you want and let the chips fall where they may fall. And you always can work the waiver wire and pick up guys. So, man, I ain't go ahead if you got any last.
No, that was
it.
That was the last one. Like I said again, it's kind of preference as far as that's concerned. And we'll get into it a little bit more with the other categories.
Okay.
Of draft strategies and different positions. But for me personally, honestly, that's just a little, too risky for me.
And it's different drafting strategies. They all can work. And it's more than one way to get to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Yep. But yeah, guys. So thank you for watching this take right here with our tight ends, guys. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button and also subscribe to this channel because I'm gonna keep giving you cutting edge videos like this. Thank you. Have a blessed day. YouTube, what's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another video, guys. And today's video is going to be on my top 5 wide receivers going into your fantasy football 2021 season. Yes, I said it. My top 5 wide receivers going into next year 2021 season. So, guys, my homeboy Mac is going to start this one out. And, guys, homeboy, just give me your top 5 receivers, bro.
All right. So, look, this is not really like your prototypical. Because I got a few caveats in here.
Okay.
And like I said, it's just going to be dependent upon a lot of moves. And it's still early.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things could happen in the offseason and stuff like that. But for me, my top 5 people that I'm targeting, wide receivers, I'm going to start with number 5. That's Stephon Diggs. And I want to put a slash in here. I want to say Stephon Diggs / DK Metcalf. Okay? And the reason being is because if Russell does stay in Seattle, I love Metcalf this year. The targets and the volume and everything like that, and the cohesiveness, that they shown, man, it's going to be something special for years to come. So I really hope that he stays. But let's just say if he goes, Stephon Diggs, man, he showed me last year what Josh really needed. Josh Allen is a great quarterback. He can run. He's dual threat, I should say. But Stephon Diggs, he opens up the whole field. Okay. When they get smoked back too, and then you still, you got my boy, gosh, I can't think of his name now. He used to play for y'all.
The Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, slot.
Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley. You get Cole Beasley, healthy and him playing. I mean, that offense is going to be nice. I don't really know what they're going to do running back wise, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, because really Josh Allen's the running back.
Yes,
to be honest.
I agree with that.
But Stephon Diggs, man, you can get him probably still later in drafts this year. It just depends on your league mates. But I'd say maybe like 3rd or 4th round, he probably still gonna be there, and he can give you tier 1 numbers. Okay. On a consistent basis. So he's at my number 5. Okay. Number 4 is gonna throw a lot of people for a loop, and that's Chase Claypool. Man, I see big things for Chase Claypool.
I'm not looped.
I know you're not, because we talked about this a lot in the offseason, too.
That was your guy, man. I got to give you that.
Well, I appreciate that,
man. You talked about him being like a Randy Moss type, and I got to give you that, man. You was ahead of me on that one.
Hey, I appreciate that. But, hey, like I said, all the film study and stuff that I did on Chase, it came to fruition this year. And by them bringing Big Ben back, that's what, as of today, that's what the plan is. They bring Big Ben back. Claypool is going to eat. He's going to get peppered with targets. So I love Chase Claypool, and he's another one that you can get later in your draft. Number 3, I'm going with your boy Tyree Kill, man. He showed me a lot this year, and I had to give you some kudos today, even though I know we're probably going to have some back and forth about this particular subject and the ranking. But Tyree Kill, man, his route running is vastly improved. He's in my opinion, has moved from the genre of quote unquote gadget player in a sense.
Don't disrespect him again.
Yeah, well, but
don't never disrespect him.
We'll get into that. You know what I'm saying? But he showed me a lot this year, and I can't see him, divulging from anything other than what happened this year. Him and Kelsey gonna, combat for targets, but I think Tyree Kill, he's still gonna probably do a repeat performance of last year, but he's not gonna be better than my number 2 guy, which is Michael Thomas. And I'm gonna use your word. Yes, I said it. Michael Thomas. Okay, so I know there's a lot of question about what's going on, in in New Orleans. But I'm big on Taysom. I love Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill has the potential to be a top tier quarterback. He's shown it, especially in college. A lot of people want to give him flack because he's been using that gadget role as a quarterback.
That's true.
But you give the man sufficient time under center and give him, give him the keys to the city, basically, and watch what happens. And when he played, and when Michael Thomas played those few games, he targeted Mike. So that kind of gives you a prelude to what's going to happen.
Okay.
But regardless, and man, even though I'm not real high on Jameis, but we know what Jameis is. If Jameis Winston is given the keys, then Michael Thomas is still gonna, look what he did with Mike Evans. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And Mike Thomas, in my opinion, is 10 times better than Mike Evans.
I think he's better.
Head and shoulders. So Mike Thomas is my number 2 guy, and number 1, numero uno, Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams. So here's the thing, and we'll get more into some of the other caveats why I think Devontae is going to be number 1 with some of the other attributes in Green Bay. But you look back like 2014, when Green Bay had Jordy Nelson, Eddie Lacy, Aaron Rodgers, all of them finished within the top 3 in fantasy in each of their individual categories. And that's simply because they had a lead dog. And they got that in A.J. Dillon, which we'll get more into that as we talk later on. But now when they got a prototypical north-south, let's just say bell cow running back with their play action, RPO, Devontae Adams is going to be stupid this year.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So the numbers that we saw from him in 2020, man, he could have 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. That's his ceiling. His floor is like 1,300. Okay. That's the floor. And that's still going to put him in the top 3. So that's my top 5. I ain't going to go too much in there because I know I want to give you space and floor for yours.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. I like your list. I really do. I respect your list. I think receivers, man. I think we doing tomato because there's so many good ones out there.
Right.
And so I'm just gonna start with my number 5. My number 5 is one of your guys. Is Chase Claypool.
Okay.
I like his potential, and I do believe he do have a chance to be similar to Randy Moss, and I don't use that very lightly. I said what I said. I don't use that very lightly because Randy Moss to me is the number 1 receiver of all time, even over Jerry. But I'm not gonna get off on that. So yeah, Chase Claypool. So I'm gonna get on to my number 4. My number 4 guy is Tyree Kill. And I know he might think, wow, you putting Tyreek at number 4? Yes, I am. I am putting Tyreek at number 4. And the reason why is because they need to show me something better than what they did in the Super Bowl. I feel like that game plan that they did to triple team Tyreek is what everybody's going to do now. And Pat Mahomes is going to have to learn how to play like Tom to do check down receivers. Because if not, then Tyreek games, they're going to take Tyreek away every game and make Travis Kelsey beat him with 200 yards. If he can do that, I don't believe he's going to be able to beat every team like they did last year with 200 yards. So Tyreek Hill, they're going to have to use him in different ways this year. And mostly, I think his rushing yards should go up. Yeah, he's getting a little older in the age, so you might not give him as much as you would maybe 2 years ago, but you have to use him in the run game. Because I think it balances out that offense, or they might draft a running back, but who knows? So let me move on. My number 3 guy, and this guy is a beast. He's a mixture of David Boston and Steve Smith, and it's A.J. Brown. Yes, I said A.J. Brown.
Okay.
A.J. Brown, new brother in town. But I did a video on him, so check him out. But he's like a running back, and he's the best probably receiver that I ever seen in my life. I said what I said. So let me get on to my number 2 guy. This other guy, I gave him a hard time, but I always knew he was a great route runner. And just because of the situation this year, I think he's going to eat. He could be the number 1 receiver, but I got him number 2, and that's Calvin Ridley. And, Julio's getting a little long in the tooth. And Calvin Ridley, they still going to put the number 1 corner on Julio. So what is that? That's going to be Calvin Ridley in the slot and on the outside, working against the number 3 and number 2 corner. And with that, I feel like he should have over 140, 150 targets easy this year. And so I like Calvin Ridley this year because he's just not going to be guarded by the number 1 receiver as long as Julio stays healthy. And I think they'll take Julio volume down a little bit just to keep him out there on the field. They'll use him as a decoy and also as a big play threat. So let me get on to my number 1 guy, and that's Keenan Allen. So I know my list is different, but I'm just going off. Mostly it's PPR. I'm talking PPR, but I like these receivers overall. And it's because he's going to be a target monster. I'm not going to pick a guy that's getting 15 targets a game. 13 catches, 11 catches, 12 catches. That's 11, 12 points right there. Then not talking about the touchdowns or the yards. So, so I love Keenan Allen. I think he's going to be a target monster, and those are my top 5 guys. So, I'm telling you, why you didn't? I don't see why you didn't have Keenan Allen on your squad, and also, man, Tyree Kill. I think he is going to fall back this year, even though I think he's the best receiver in the league.
Right.
But it's not always about that. See, that's what people. Your favorite doesn't mean greatness.
True.
The best weapon doesn't always finish as the top guy. Jerry Rice still finishes as the number 1 receiver every single year, but he was the best when he was doing it. So I do think Tyree will take a fall back, and other receivers will have a better fantasy season than him.
Yeah. I mean, and I have to. You floored me with the Tyree Kill thing, and I get what you're saying. I don't know. I can't really, barring injury, I can't really see them, or see him, I should say, deteriorating like that. And I hate to use that term, but in that sense, because he is an elite receiver. Again, in my opinion, he's not above Michael Thomas, or Devontae in my hierarchy. But Tyree Kill, man, he's still okay. And we're talking about the Super Bowl. You know, Todd Bowles, we got to give him mad credit.
Copycat lead.
That's true. But Big Red is not going to sit there, even though we're going to give him a little flack in a sense, you know, him and Bieniemy as far as the game plan that they, you know, attributed. But I cannot see them repeating that same mistake. So when defenses are evolving and they're trying to copycat, like you said, they're going to have to do certain things to keep evolving as well. And man, it's just like I said, Travis Kelsey for me is the key in that whole offense. So he is gonna help soften the deal a little bit for Tyreek. And Tyreek brings something, man, that nobody else on either of our lists can't even come close to. And I don't like to belittle his speed, you know, saying, okay, that's just why he's great. But come on. You got to give this man his credit. That's a God-given talent. You can't develop speed. I mean, yeah, you can kind of people can work on it to get faster, but he born with that. Like he probably came out the womb and he gone. You feel what I'm saying? He just got it's a gift from God, man. I mean, that's something. So when you add that along with his route running ability that he has, you know, worked on. I'm not saying he's as good as Michael Thomas or Devontae Adams or even your number 1, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, I had to give you that. He is a superb route runner. But Tyree Kill is starting to gain traction when it comes to that. So, I don't know. I really can't see him at number 4. I just can't see that unless he has an injury, in my opinion.
I just seen, okay, so I know Tyreek Hill is one of my favorite players in the NFL, and I know if I'm playing against Tyreek Hill, I'm doing what Todd Bowles doing. I'm triple teaming him, and you're never getting deep. I don't care. You're never going to get a deep pass. I would tell my corner, I don't care if he got 18 catches. Do not let that boy get behind you. And if you can keep him in front of him, we can run and tackle him. So I just believe that's going to be the game plan. So they're going to have to do something else or make another player step up for Tyreek to get one-on-one coverage again to be able to lift the defense up and give and be explosive like he is. So I think it's going to be more in like gadget plays. Don't mean he's gadgety, but it's going to be like him jet sweeps, toss. They're going to use that a little bit more. That way when you try to double and triple team him, you triple teaming a running back. And what did that mean? That's Travis Kelsey one-on-one. That's McCole Hardman. That's whoever that they bring in. They think about bringing in Odell Beckham. They said some other receivers. Because I seen in that Super Bowl where they needed a number 2 receiver, number 2 receiver that they could target 10 or 12 times. And I always said that Sammy Watkins was a good player, but he's not that player right now. McCole Hardman is not that. McCole Hardman is like a Ted Ginn. He's not a great route runner, but he's fast.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe Tyree could take a backdrop, but not like in his talent. It's just the way the offense is all about the offensive coordinators with me and how you're going to implement. That's why if I had the number one, Keenan Allen is not the best receiver in the game. But for his fantasy points, and far as like you winning and getting the best receiver, he is. So that's how I do my top 5.
Okay.
So, guys, thank you for tuning in to Fantasy Good Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. I'm going to keep giving you cutting-edge information. Also, guys, be ready for the Patreon. I got all kind of things that's going to be going on in my Patreon, guys. I'm going to be getting my brother Matt to help me out with that. Yep. And also, guys, I got a draft guide coming. So, guys, thank you for tuning in to Fantasy Good Sports. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace. YouTube, what's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another video from Fantasy Good Sports. And today's video, guys, is going to be on your top 5 running backs going into your 2021 fantasy football season. Yes, I said it. Your top 5 running backs going into your 2021 fantasy football season. So let's get started, guys. My number 5 running back that I'm picking is Austin Echola. Yes, I said it. Guys, he's a dual threat. I love guys that's getting passes and running the ball. I don't want one-dimensional backs. One-dimensional backs, I let them fall to me. But when I'm going to get a guy, I'm going to get the guys that can get 12, 13 catches in the pass game and also mess around and have 80 yards rushing. That's the type of guys that I like. So, yeah, he's one of the best dual threats. I was off last year only because he got hurt. I believe he could have been an MVP if he stayed healthy, guys, because he's going to have 100 catches and probably 1,000 yards rushers. And I said what I said. So let me move on. My number 4 running back, guys, is Jonathan Taylor. Yes, I said it. Jonathan Taylor, guys. And the reason why I'm picking Jonathan Taylor is, look, I don't think he's the greatest running back ever since sliced bread or something like that. But he has a great offensive line, and the dude runs a 4.4, and he's 230, 240 pounds. And he catches the ball decent. So I'm not saying he's going to have a lot of receptions, but when you're playing with the Colts, and I believe the Colts is going to be one of the best teams in the NFL this year because of their infrastructure. I love the way they built this team, and I love the acquisition they made with Carson Wentz. So Jonathan Taylor is a guy that you can pick up. Like I said, he's my number 4 running back. I don't believe he's the best running back on the board, but I do believe he's going to be a great discount type back, and to give him my homeboy a shout out with the discount thing that he does. So going on to my number 3, and everybody's kind of obvious, but he's not number 1, is Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, to me, is the best behind the center type running back in the league, guys. This guy's dynamic, and he also gets catches, too. Reason why I got a number 3 is because of wear and tear. He had some knee injuries in the past, and I just don't like to pick running backs that might get hurt. So that's the only reason why Dalvin Cook is a monster. I have nothing bad to say about Dalvin Cook. He's on a Hall of Fame type career. So my number 2, guys, is a guy like I told you, he's good in the pass game and run game, and it's Alvin Kamara. Yes, I said it, Alvin Kamara. And, guys, the reason why I got Alvin Kamara, he's a wide receiver and a power back. Yes, I said it. I said a power back. Yeah, because you think he's small, that he can't be powerful. Look at his broke tackles. He got more broke tackles than anybody other than Derrick Henry. So that guy's like Alvin. I wouldn't be surprised if Alvin Kamara squats like 600 pounds or 500 pounds, guys. He's very, very strong. So don't get the shift in this where he's just an agile back. He's a power back too. His only thing is his size. He can get nicked up. That's the thing. So you can't use him 30, 40 times a game. So, I love Alvin Kamara, guys. So my number 1 running back, guys, and this is obvious, and I hate to say this because this is kind of oxymoron, but by him getting hurt was good for CMC. I said what I said. Him kind of getting hurt was good for CMC because I'm ready to bell cow him this year. I said what I said. I'm ready to bell cow him. And I feel like by him not getting a lot of totes last year, and the boy, you know what he is, and he can play receiver. He would be a top 15, top 20 receiver in the league if he just played that slot guy. He'd be just as good as Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. I said what I said. You can't guard the guy in the slot. But also he could play out wide too. He's that good. But yeah, I like CMC. You know what he's going to do. I don't know what team with the trades and stuff that he's going to be on, but it's all good. CMC still should be the number 1 running back that you take off the board this year, guy. So let me hand it over to my homeboy, Matt.
Yo, first of all, I appreciate it. Secondly, that list is it's very intriguing. A lot of those guys I do echo, and I see great points on that. I'm kind of go a little different on some of them. So I'm gonna give a caveat. First, I want to start off with number 5. Mm-hmm. My number 5 is A.J. Dillon. This is cutting edge. This is gonna be one of those ahead of the curve type picks. But I promise you, if they use him like I envisioned that they're going to do, like they did in that one game when they gave him the full workload.
When your boy went down with it, talking about, oh, my back is too cold.
Right. But and we'll get on that. I know where that's coming from. We'll get on that. But A.J. Dillon is a generational back, a prototypical. Yeah, he's a third down back. I mean, he made the same defense that shut not New England, but Tom Brady and the boys. KC. That shut KC down. That same defense, A.J. Dillon ran rush shot on the boys. He did. I mean, he made Todd Bowles shake his head like, what in the world's going on? You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So A.J. Dillon, I think they're going to give him the full workload this year. And if they do that, if you can get him 5th round, I got Derrick Henry like in the 5th round like 2 years ago. And I see the same potential.
I like that.
Dillon.
I like that.
So A.J. Dillon's my number 5. Number 4, I'm going with another guy that me and you both spoke on, and you turned the light on to me about him. And then when I looked and I started researching him, I was like, man, this kid is gonna be awesome. And we had this conversation about it, and I told you, and I know we kind of went back and forth a little bit. I was like, yo, no, he gonna be the number 1. And I said something that I think that a lot of people probably was like, man, what are you talking about? I said he's going to be better than CMC. And that's Antonio Gibson. Yes. I said what I said. Antonio Gibson. Listen. So we saw flashes of it this past season. And if he hadn't got hurt, I think he had turf toe, he would have been the offensive rookie of the year. I don't care what nobody said.
That's not a stretch. I agree with that.
You get what I'm saying? And he was doing it kind of in a split timeshare. I like McKissick and all of that, and I think he's okay as a satellite back. But Antonio Gibson is more than a satellite back. He is a full-blooded workhorse. So if you can give him that workload, which I think Turner is going to do that. He's going to give him, the carries as well as the receptions. I think he'll be a great value. Okay, my number 3. I kind of said this. What I'm going to say is Pittsburgh running back, whoever it may be. I think this year, bringing Big Ben back, they're going to have to establish the run. They're going to go in the draft. I already see this as an early pick. They're going to go in the draft. They're going to get they're going to bolster that offensive line without a doubt. So if you look back since probably 2014, 2018, when they focus on the run and they have a premier running back, they give him 20 or 30 carries, they're always in top 3, top 5 area. And it goes from Le'Veon Bell, D. Will, James Conner. So whoever they got in the backfield, I don't care who it is. If they draft one, whatever the case may be, that Pittsburgh running back is going to finish within that, and I say he's going to be top 3. I know that's bold, but that's what I say. Number 2, CMC. He's coming in healthy this year. They're going to give him his workload again. He may even get more because, like you said, that's a great point. He basically had a year off. So they're going to give him all the workload. So it's not really to expound on that because you already gave credence to that. My number 1, which nobody's talking about, and it's like they forgot about this guy, Saquon Barkley. It's like they erased him from the memory banks of everybody in fantasy football. Saquon is a generational talent. Now, like I said, it kind of echoes when we was talking about the tight ends. Jason Garrett's effect, you're going to see that with him. We didn't get to see that this past season because it wasn't really enough time because he got hurt. But every running back that he's had, and you're a Dallas fan, you know this, even from McFadden, DeMarco Murray, all these guys, when they get the workload, they are top tier running backs in the league. And Saquon is head and shoulders above anybody that Dallas has ever had other than Emmitt Smith, in my opinion. So Saquon Barkley, in my opinion, healthy, he's going to get the workload. I mean, Wayne Gallman got 600, almost 700 yards. 4.6 yards a carry. Okay. So Wayne Gallman can do that. We all know what Saquon going to be. So Saquon's my number 1.
Okay, I got 2 things to talk about. I like what you said about Pittsburgh, but only in a certain manner. I do believe Pittsburgh is going to have a strong run game this year.
Right.
I believe it could be running back by committee.
Okay.
But those backs are going to be decent. I don't know how they're going to break it down because they're still. But I'm not going to sit there and say that guy's going to be a top 5 running back. I think that's a little bit of hometown thing. And listen, I ain't seen a player that he ain't said they need to go to Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's true.
So the AFC All-Stars is the Pittsburgh Steelers with him. Every single player, CMC, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, he want them all there and rotating.
I mean, we basically got this AFC All-Star.
So that's what he said. So anytime he talks about Pittsburgh, he's going to put the best player there. I'm surprised he didn't say Saquon needs to go to Pittsburgh. Right. That's how he loved the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to go back to something you said about the Cowboys that I disagree with you fully on. Mm-hmm. I don't like Jason Garrett. Not as a person. I think he's a great person. He's very smart, but I don't like him as he's very vanilla. I don't like vanilla will get your players hurt. I said what I said. You have to put guys out in space to be able to make plays and get out of bounds. And that's how you see the injuries go down. But when you just straight north and south, it's old school football, it's old school injuries. I said what I said. So I don't like Jason Garrett. I don't like that for Saquon. I think Saquon needed to be in the offense. And I'm just going to give an example. This is not nothing that you can say, yeah, this is what's going on. But like an Arizona type. He needs to be out catching balls, 80, 90 balls. He don't need to be getting 30 carries a game. That's going to wear out on a star, and it's too much on him. I don't like that. Getting catches is different than getting carries. Because, sometimes you get a catch and you just run out of bounds for 12 yards. But every time you get in a carry, you getting hit. And I don't like that for a running back. So that's what I rebuttal with that. I respect your list, but I just don't like Saquon being number 1, yes, that's good. Right. But if he had a different offensive coordinator, yes. And this goes to the fact where I believe the offensive coordinators, guys, is going to be more like college coordinators. That's why I love what Arizona did for Kyler Murray. And also as far as with the running backs, too. I think that gives them a little bit of breathing room. It doesn't wear and tear on them. Mm-hmm. And so that's the only thing I got to say about your list, man. But I respect your list.
Yeah,
you got a good list.
I appreciate it. Like I said, the only thing I can say, with the whole Jason Garrett situation is, history has shown, yes, he does run a vanilla type offense, but it works well, especially with the tight ends and the running backs. Saquon is a prototypical back. He can catch passes and get out in space, but that's what you want. You want him to get out in space. It ain't always north and south, but you got to play to his strengths. He's lateral, but you put him in one of those gaps, A, B, or C, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very hard for him not to get into the second level. And once he gets in the second level, it's over. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, for me, Saquon coming back healthy, and he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. See, that's one of those caveats that a lot of people don't talk about. That me and you talk about it a lot of times off camera, those X factors. Mm-hmm. That's key when you got a player who's hungry. Mm-hmm. Not only, but mentally. Mm-hmm. He's hungry. He's coming back, man. He wants to prove points. Because, like I said, nobody's talking about Saquon. Mm-hmm. Not on this level. Mm-hmm. They probably will later on as we get in training camps and things like that. When the steam, starts to, come up a little bit and the talk and all that. But I don't know, man. Saquon, I think, is going to have a superb year. I think it's going to be one of those years, man. He's going to, like I said, if he stays healthy.
I think Jason Garrett might get fired in the middle of the season because like Zeke. Why does Zeke have more catches than he had like in the first 5 games than he probably had in the first 2 seasons? Because Jason Garrett is so vanilla, man, so north and south, and that puts a lot of strain on your running back. Yeah, if you got Derrick Henry, yeah. If I had Jason Garrett for Derrick Henry, yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. Right. But no, man, I'm not going to pound a guy that's so dynamic in the pass and run game and to pound him through the tackles every play like that. Mm-hmm. That's kind of why they struggled a little bit early in the season. They wasn't being dynamic. Why did Daniel Jones regress? Because he was just old-fashioned drop back. But when he played in the shotgun as a rookie, you could see certain talents. You could see his speed. So Jason Garrett is not innovative. He's vanilla. If you need vanilla, yeah, I guess that's good. But I'm not. I'm about evolving, cutting edge. This is cutting edge. This is FantasyGoodeSports. So I'm about cutting edge.
But the best way, like I said, even in a fight, the best way to knock down heavyweights, and let's say we use that in the same caveat as a heavyweight defensive line, you got a body blow. You got to hit them. You got to weaken them. And what better way to do that is with a battering ram running back. And that's what Saquon is. Yes, he is. He can do all type of things. He can catch passes out of the backfield, whatever. But you get that man 25, 30 carries to wear down that defense, game over. Okay. I mean, and that's the same way. That's what Derrick Henry does.
And I respect that.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So,
But guys, thank you for tuning in to this video for my top 5 running backs going into your 2021 season, guys. Make sure you thumbs up this video and also subscribe to this channel, guys, because I'm going to keep giving you cutting edge information like this. And also, guys, be looking out for my Patreon and my draft guide. Thank you, guys. Have a blessed day. YouTube, what's good, guys? It's your boy TD. I'm back again with another video from Fantasy Good Sports. And today's video, guys, is going to be on your top 5 quarterbacks going into your 2021 fantasy football season. Yes, I said it. Your top 5 quarterbacks going into your 2021 fantasy football season. So, guys, I'm going to hand it over to my boy Mac and let him go first.
All right. So, look, my top 5 is kind of prototypical in a sense right now of, everybody's probably list that everybody's thinking about. But my number 5 guy, this is a guy that, depending upon if he moves or goes somewhere else, he could slide up to number 1, just like that. And that's Russell Wilson. So.
Russell, last name Wilson.
Yep. Sierra is cooking some good stuff. I don't know what's going on, but Russell's, his mind's all over the place. But, so here's the thing. If he goes to the Cowboys, your boys, I think he shoots the number 1. And so the caveat to that is because they could potentially want Zeke and, trade, some picks. And I don't have a problem with that because I think Tony Pollard is ready. And he would fit exceptionally well with Russell. Russell is a mobile quarterback. He's a dual threat. But with those weapons that he has, I'm not saying he don't have any in Seattle, but you got Amari, CeeDee Lamb, who's a stud.
Don't be mentioning my guys, bro.
Hey, I feel icky doing it because me being a Steelers fan. But I'm, for fantasy-wise, and then Tony Pollard, and Michael Gallup, but Tony Pollard, oh man, he's a star in the making. It's something about I don't know if it's something in the water down at Memphis, man. When you got all those players, Pollard, Gibson, who was it? Henderson.
It might be the tennis. It might be the whiskey, man.
It may be a barbecue or something. I don't know. But so my thing is, I got him in number 5 now. But if he goes somewhere like the Cowboys, I think he'll shoot up to number 1 because of the potential weapons that he has. And I just think that'll be a great landing spot. Number 4, Josh Allen. Only reason I don't have him a little bit higher than that because of some of the other guys that I have, above him. But Josh Allen, his floor is top 3. I got him at 4 because some of the other guys that I like it's a tad bit better. But the weapons that he have now, Stephon Diggs, Beasley, Smoke, man, what else can you ask for? And they give him carte blanche to do whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he runs a lot of plays. I mean, of course, they got a lot of good play calling there, McDermott and them. But Josh Allen, man, he's starting to grow into that tier 1 quarterback mentally. You see a lot of his mistakes are starting to dwindle down. So he's not making a lot of mental mistakes. And then we all know what his physical attributes are. So I love him at number 4. Number 3, I got Pat Mahomes. A lot of people are going to be like, what? Yeah, I got Pat Mahomes at number 3. It's multiple reasons, but I'm not going to go into too much of it right now. But for me, Pat Mahomes, I think you mentioned this on another video, a lot of the defenses are starting to assimilate and see, and they're going to, really duplicate what Pat Bowles did. Todd Bowles did. We're going to see that. Probably in the first beginning stages of the season, we'll see that as an effect, and I think that's going to affect his numbers. He's still going to finish in the top 3 easily, barring injury. But Pat, I think he's going to see a little bit of a dip. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. I love me some Lamar Jackson. I've been on Lamar Jackson for years. I was one of the first ones that was on Lamar actually coming in. I remember 2 years ago, man, I picked him. Nobody else even picked him. I went to my championship with Lamar Jackson because, like I said, didn't nobody see really what he was then. They just thought he was a gadget, running quarterback, which he's way more than that. If they can get him a number 1 receiver, he can teeter-totter between 1 and 2.
I agree with that.
Lamar Jackson, my number 2. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers. Me and you had a conversation. I think you remember this when we talked about it. And I mentioned about Aaron this past year in 2020, and I think he's going to duplicate the numbers. That's a floor. His ceiling could be phenomenal if they introduce and put A.J. Dillon into the role that they should, kind of like they did Eddie Lacy back in the day, Aaron Rodgers is going to, man, it's going to be ridiculous. And if they can fool around and get, Tanya, I love him as a secondary type receiver, but if they can get somebody else, maybe in the draft or out of free agency to kind of take a little bit of pressure from Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers' numbers are going to be stupid. So Aaron Rodgers is my number one guy.
Okay. I like that list, man. Like you said, it's kind of prototypical, and it's kind of, you got to get prototypical when you get with the quarterbacks. But I think mine's a little bit more cutting edge than yours. I'm not saying more accurate, but a little bit more cutting edge. Okay. And this number 5 guy that I'm about to say off, I actually like him, and I'm going to try to get him in a lot of my drafts. But it's Justin Herbert.
Okay. All right.
And I like to team him up with Keenan Allen as my number 1 receiver this year. And I believe Justin Herbert is a hybrid. I said what I said. Guys, this guy is phenomenal. He is fast. He actually might be just as fast as Josh Allen. I'm not saying a better athlete,
right,
but the arm strength and all that. He could be Josh Allen, but he's better in the pocket and the better thrower than Josh Allen. I said what I said. So I love Justin Herbert. He could be the best quarterback in the league this year. I said what I said. Justin Herbert could be the best quarterback in the league this year. So I love Justin Herbert, guys. He's phenomenal. This guy's probably might be one of the most talented quarterbacks that I ever seen. And I missed him coming out of college. I knew he was athletic, but I didn't know that his pocket presence is phenomenal. Like he's aware, he knows where the pressure's coming from. I think he had the best rookie season that I ever seen from a quarterback. Now I know I didn't see Dan Marino play, and I know Dak had a good year because he played with a great Cowboys team. But Justin Herbert, what he did with that type of offensive line was phenomenal. So let me move on. My number 4 guy is, I believe that he might be the best quarterback as in right now and even last year, is Deshaun Watson. And I said what I said. No matter where he go, guys, you follow. Unless he goes to a place where he has no more weapons, then yeah, that's one thing. But this guy's dynamic and he's better than Mahomes. And the reason why I'm saying he's better than Mahomes is because, guys, he's always kind of had like less talent and better, and at least he didn't have as good as offensive coordinators around him, but he still played phenomenal. Imagine if he played with Andy Reid. I believe that if you put Deshaun Watson, you flipped him, that his numbers is just as good or even better than Pat Mahomes because he's a little bit faster, he's a little bit better athlete than Pat Mahomes.
Right.
So guys, I'm gonna get on to my number 3 guy. My number 3 guy is Josh Allen. And like he said, I love Josh Allen. His OC did a great job with him last year, and his development is elite. That's one of the most elite developments that I ever seen in my life, as far as a quarterback to come out, throwing the ball in the stands, throwing it in the dirt, and then he come out next year and it has like almost close to a 70% completion percentage. It's phenomenal. Dual threat, and his arm is probably the strongest in the league, guys. So this guy, he can back up, and then make a throw that any other quarterback would have been like, I got to throw it out of bounds. So Josh Allen is incredible, and he's like a Cam Newton. Yes, I said what I said. This guy can have 20 carries a game if they wanted to, but you're not going to do that to him because that's you risking injuries and stuff like that. Yeah. So let me get on to my number 2, and I got to give me and him agree on this. It's Lamar Jackson. I said what I said. I think Lamar Jackson is phenomenal, and I think you need to go pick these quarterbacks up, guys, if you can, around the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Now, first, only it depends on if how you drafting. You can wait because it's 5 of these guys, so you don't have to be the first one in these pool. Because all these guys can be around 30, 40 points a game. I said what I said. All these guys can be around 30, 40 points. So you really don't got to get these guys in the first round. But I love Lamar Jackson. He's basically, this is what Lamar Jackson is. You know, everybody's talking about taking a running back. That's why I believe you can take Lamar Jackson in the first round because he is a running back. Guys, he hit 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons. So you getting that type of carries and that type of exposure from the running backs and then points, and then you also getting those throwing touchdowns, that's putting your 30, 40 points easy. So my number 1 quarterback, guys, is Kyler Murray. And the reason why I'm putting Kyler Murray as my number 1 quarterback is because of Cliff Kingsbury and that offense. Running a shotgun every time like the way he does, guys, most of the time is 95% of the plays got to go through Kyler Murray, and that's more points for him. So I got a couple games where Kyler Murray, guys, he only threw for 1 touchdown and 1 pick, and he still had 28 points. It's because the offense is running through him. So Kyler Murray is always going to get points even when he have bad games. So this is the best quarterback to get, guys, when the scoring format has to go through him. So, these other quarterbacks, like Lamar Jackson, what if J.K. Dobbins gets 3 touchdowns and they give it, and then Lamar doesn't run it in? Then he's 20 points, 19 points, even though they won the game and they blew him out. Kyler Murray with a blowout was going to have 30, 40 points because the offense goes through him. He's in the shotgun. Look at college. Look at the college systems. Look when you go and play FanDuel or DraftKings, look at the scoring system from the college quarterbacks. Those college quarterbacks usually have 50 points a game because the offense is shotgun. I'm running to the sideline, and that's what Kyler Murray is doing, and that's why they hired Cliff Kingsbury. So I believe Kyler Murray should be your number 1 quarterback that you should take. If you pick another quarterback and you want to take him first, Kyler Murray should be that quarterback.
I mean, I can't really rebuttal too much of that. I kind of echo and agree with a lot of, of those guys. Only one I'm kind of leery about is Kyler. Different reasons. One of the main reasons I think they need a little bit more firepower. Nuke is who he is. He's an exceptional wide receiver, top tier. Even though he didn't make my top 5, but he is still top 10 easy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. So you got certain quarterbacks that fit in that mold, like Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Drew Brees, all these guys who are kind of built the same, have the same type of attributes. And even though, like I said, I do agree with Kingsbury's offense, how it accentuates what Kyler does. I just don't put him in that same top tier level yet. To me, he hadn't shown it to me. But I'm not saying that you're not off with that, but it's just be very hard for me to put him above Aaron Rodgers or even Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes. I'd take all 3 of those before I would Kyler.
But see, you focusing on the player. The offensive, the way it's running, he's going to outscore these guys. He did it for a while. Until he hurt his shoulder, he was probably going to be on the number 1 quarterback scoring. He was having 30, 40 points like 4 games in a row, and then he hurt his shoulder, and then he took a dip, and it would score like 14-10.
Right.
And so it took him down.
Right.
But Kyler Murray was beasting, but if he doesn't get hurt, he finishes as the number 1 quarterback.
Right.
And some of his games wasn't as good as Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns, but Aaron Rodgers wasn't scoring 40 points with those 4 touchdowns.
But that's what I'm saying by him getting hurt, because he's putting himself in harm's way more than these other guys. And
That's
he's
a fair
not
point.
built. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fair point.
That's my whole thing.
Okay.
And again, like I said, it's not taking it away from his talent, but if they're going to use him in that role, you're going to be subject to him missing games in the latter part of the season or early on, just depending on when the injury comes. And it's going to come if they keep using him and putting him in harm's way like that. That's why they had to dial back Josh Allen a little bit, even though Josh Allen is bigger than Kyler. But they had to dial him back a little bit. And they're going to have to do that to Lamar. Lamar is just so special. You can still give him that carte blanche where he can do those type of things. Because, man, we've never seen a talent like Lamar.
I agree with that.
People want to talk about Michael Vick, and I give him all the kudos and respect. Even going back to my day, like Randall Cunningham, guys like that. I've never seen nobody like a Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a next level talent. He's a video game in real life.
I agree with that.
So you can give him those type of carries, and I don't even want to say put him in harm's way because he's so quick and elusive. Can't nobody really stick with him. I can't even name a DB or even a linebacker that can even cover him one-on-one. So that's my only thing with Kyler Murray. But
I didn't have Pat Mahomes in my top 5. And I didn't have Aaron Rodgers. And the reason why, man, defense adjust. I like Aaron Rodgers, man. I think he's a Hall of Famer. He's a great quarterback. But I'm talking about fantasy. And I need big time points. I need all the points I can get. And I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is going to rush for 3 touchdowns in a game and then throw for 2. And I need that type. I believe Justin Herbert can do that, even though he's a pocket quarterback.
Right.
So Pat Mahomes, I believe they're going to have to show me that they can go. It's like I said, the repeat of the Super Bowl is what defense is going to do. And I believe that's going to take Pat Mahomes' numbers down. So what they're going to do to try to probably counter that is run the ball more between the tackles.
Yes.
And that's going to take away Pat Mahomes' numbers, but that's going to give maybe more wins for Kansas City in big games.
Right.
So that's less points for Pat, so he ain't chucking around for 50 points. That's still fine. They're not playing for fantasy. So you have to choose the offensive coordinator that's kind of playing for fantasy.
True.
And with from each year to year, that's different. So the fantasy quarterback to me, now I'm not saying the MVP or the most efficient or anything, it's Kyler Murray.
Right.
Because he's playing behind, his defense is not that good, and the offense, no matter if they are up 5 touchdowns or below 5 touchdowns, Kyler Murray has to put the ball in his hands and get points. So that's the difference. So imagine when Aaron Rodgers was up 3 touchdowns and you picked him, and he got like 19 points going into the third quarter, and they beat the team by 17 points. That's an A.J. Dillon day.
Oh, yeah.
And you like,
That's
man, I got beat, but they won, and you mad.
Right.
But then I got a guy that ain't as good, and he ain't in MVP conversations, but he scored 35 points through 2 picks too.
Right.
But he still outscored your quarterback. So that's what it's about. So that's why I got Kyler Murray as my number 1, and I got Pat Mahomes and some of these guys out of there because I'm just looking for the offensive coordinator to have that's going to be passing the ball a lot, playing through a system through the quarterback. And that's Josh Allen, and that's Deshaun Watson, that's Lamar Jackson. Those guys aren't the most talented Hall of Fame guys, but they are for 30 points, 40 points fantasy players.
I agree with that.
So guys, thank you for tuning in to this video. Thank you for watching my top quarterback list, guys. And also, guys, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel because I'm going to keep giving you cutting edge videos, guys. And also, guys, be watching out for my Patreon because I got a lot of content coming, guys. So, Mac, I'd like to thank my homeboy, Mac, for coming today. And, guys, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Peace.